What if I told y'all that America's favorite TV dad, the sweater-wearing, pudding-slinging, Bill Cosby, might not just be the scandal magnate you thought he was, but the mastermind behind a full-blown Hollywood hit job? Yeah, I'm talking about an alleged kill order on his own TV son, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Let that sink in. The man who preached family values on primetime TV, allegedly texting someone to handle the kid he once called his son. And here's where it gets colder than an Ice Cube verse, because it's Ice Cube himself who's sounding the alarm. Yep, Cube just dropped a stack of alleged burn messages that, if they're real, flip this story from celebrity drama to organized crime thriller. So, what could possibly push Cosby from cardigan-wearing father figure to prime suspect in a Hollywood conspiracy? What secret was Malcolm holding that had the power to blow the whole empire apart? Y'all better stay locked in, because what I'm about to show you isn't just gossip, it's receipts, betrayal, and maybe murder. And once you hear it, you'll never look at The Cosby Show the same way again. On one side, you've got Bill Cosby, the man who once sold America on clean comedy, wholesome family values, and sweaters so loud they had their own personality. But behind that fatherly smile, decades of allegations, courtroom drama, and a reputation that went from national treasure to national scandal faster than you can say pudding pop. And on the other side, Malcolm Jamal Warner, the golden boy of The Cosby Show. America watched him grow up on screen. He was charming, grounded, and in many ways, the perfect TV son. The kind of guy you'd expect Cosby to protect. Not, allegedly. Send a coded kill order for .now. Enter Ice Cube, hip-hop legend, actor, and unofficial watchdog of Hollywood's shady underbelly. Cube's not new to calling out corruption, but this time, he's not just talking in metaphors and protest songs, he's holding alleged receipts. And according to him, these receipts are not just explosive, they're the kind that burn down entire careers, networks, and carefully curated legacies. So here's the setup. Malcolm was reportedly working on a project. Not just any project, but a tell-all documentary, the kind that makes lawyers foam at the mouth and PR teams schedule emergency vacations. Sources close to Malcolm claim it was going to expose the dark vault of 80s sitcom culture. You know, the stuff nobody ever talks about. Contract manipulation, hush money payoffs, and things that would make you want to bleach your DVD box sets. One insider, and let's just say, they're risking their neck even talking, said Malcolm, had names, dates, and proof of abuse and exploitation that went way beyond Cosby. But here's the kicker. Cosby wasn't just another name in the vault. He was allegedly the gatekeeper, the man making sure nothing leaked, and the man who had the most to lose if Malcolm decided to speak. Then came the whispers. Malcolm telling friends he was being watched, turning his phone off for days, meeting with journalists off the record, even canceling public appearances at the last minute. Whatever was on that hard drive of his, it had him spooked. And apparently, it had other people spooked too. Now, according to Ice Cube, a mutual contact reached out just days before Malcolm's death with a chilling message. He's scared. He said they're watching him. And if something happens, tell the world it wasn't an accident. That alone would have been enough to set the internet on fire. But Cube says he's seen something worse. Actual text messages from a burner phone, allegedly tied to a certain high-profile figure with direct connections to Cosby. These messages weren't your standard celebrity beef. They were coded, calculated, and cold. One allegedly read, "The kid needs to be taken out of syndication, permanently." Another, "No reboot. Shut him down for good. Handle it quietly." And remember, Malcolm's death came just days later, in what the LAPD wrote off as natural causes. No foul play suspected. Case closed. But wait, there's more. Cube claims the person who first showed him these messages vanished. As in, phone disconnected, social media wiped, gone without a trace. And if you think that sounds like something out of a conspiracy thriller, welcome to Hollywood, where truth is often stranger than fiction. Meanwhile, family sources revealed Malcolm's most important piece of evidence, an external hard drive, was missing from his apartment. Police had taken some of his tech, but that drive, nowhere to be found. And here's the part that'll give you chills. Before police even arrived, someone else had been in Malcolm's apartment. Not just anyone. A former assistant, who quit months earlier under bad terms, and disappeared the very next day. That's when the timeline starts to look less like coincidence, and more like a cleanup job. Malcolm's last confirmed public appearance was at a so-called industry reconciliation dinner just outside Philadelphia. Supposedly, it was meant to mend fences. Insiders now call it what it really was, a setup. And here's where the paranoia hits a fever pitch. In a leaked voicemail obtained by an anonymous hacker, a male voice, sounding eerily like Cosby, allegedly says, "I told you the boy was getting too bold. He forgets who put him on. We made him. We can unmake him. If that's legit, it's game over." That's not the kind of thing you can PR spin away. Now, you'd think something this explosive would spark a full-blown federal investigation, right? Wrong. The LAPD stuck to its no foul play story. Mainstream media stayed silent. And Malcolm's death was quietly swept under the rug, filed away like it never happened. But Ice Cube, he's not letting it slide. He's gone on record, "If something happens to me, y'all better not let this die with me." That's not paranoia talking, that's a man who knows exactly how deep the rot goes. And exactly how dangerous the people at the top can be. And as for Agent K, the mysterious name attached to these burner phone messages, we're going to get to that, because whoever Agent K is, they might just be the smoking gun in this entire case. Because right when Cube started digging into Agent K's identity, see, Agent K wasn't just some random nickname floating around group chats. In the circles Malcolm and Cube moved in, that alias was whispered like a ghost story. The kind of name you don't say out loud unless you're ready for black SUVs to start tailing you. Allegedly, Agent K is a Hollywood fixer, the shadowy middleman who cleans up the mess when big names get caught with their hands in places they shouldn't be. The type who doesn't just handle PR damage control, but permanent solutions. Now, if you believe Cube's sources, and trust me, the man's not talking out of thin air, Agent K has been linked to at least 4 other mysterious career-ending incidents over the past 20 years. All conveniently involving actors, comedians, or producers who were about to blow the whistle on something big. And every time, no police follow-up, no public outrage, just silence. So why would Agent K allegedly be on Cosby's speed dial? Well, the answer might be buried in something Malcolm stumbled onto while working on his documentary, a network of secret payouts, fake charity fronts, and offshore accounts that kept decades of bad behavior locked away from the public. One source, an ex-network accountant, claims Malcolm had traced millions in production expenses that never went to any production. Instead, those funds were quietly redirected to private accounts in the Cayman Islands. Some allegedly tied to Cosby's closest associates. This wasn't pocket change. We're talking enough money to buy entire television networks. And guess whose name allegedly popped up as the handler for some of those accounts? Agent K. Now here's where it gets even uglier. Cube says he found out Malcolm had planned to confront one of these associates, not in public, but at that so-called reconciliation dinner we talked about in part 1. The plan was to slide them an ultimatum: either they come clean, or Malcolm goes nuclear with the documentary. But instead of getting a confession, Malcolm allegedly left that dinner pale, shaken, and muttering about not having much time. Within 48 hours, he was dead, and while the official statement called it natural causes, the timeline is a little too neat. Medical records were sealed almost immediately. The coroner's office issued a report that read like a copy-paste job. And here's the part Cube can't stop hammering. Malcolm had a clean bill of health from his doctor just 2 weeks prior. No underlying conditions, no warnings, just gone. The morning after Malcolm's death, Cube says he received a direct message from a now-deleted account: "You're next if you don't let it go." The sender username contained the letter K and a string of numbers that, when rearranged, matched the date of another celebrity's suspicious accident back in 2011. Call that a coincidence if you want. Cube's not buying it. Meanwhile, people in Malcolm's inner circle started acting strange. Longtime friends stopped returning calls. One producer who'd been helping with the documentary suddenly claimed he never saw any evidence, despite bragging about it just weeks earlier. And a journalist who'd been promised an exclusive interview with Malcolm went completely dark after meeting with unnamed sources. But perhaps the most chilling development came from a leaked email, supposedly written by a high-ranking TV executive, sent just hours after Malcolm's death. The subject line: "Crisis contained." The body of the email allegedly read, "Ensure the vault is secure. No reboot discussions until 2026. Clean sweep all shared drives." Cube claims he's seen this email. He even hinted that it contains initials that could directly implicate people still running major networks today. And guess whose initials were right there in CC? Agent K. Now, The internet did what the internet does best, it exploded. Conspiracy threads popped up overnight. Hashtags like hashtag Justice for Malcolm and hashtag Who is Agent K trended for days. But just as fast as they went viral, they vanished. Posts deleted. Accounts banned. Even major YouTube channels that tried to cover the story got hit with copyright strikes they couldn't appeal. That's when Cube started getting even bolder. He went live on Instagram, straight-faced, no script, and said, "Y'all think they can scare me? Nah, I've been in this game too long. I know how they work. They're scared because we got the proof. And when the time's right, we're dropping it." But here's the twist. Less than 24 hours after that live, Cube's own team allegedly intercepted a package at his house. No return address. Inside, a single VHS tape labeled Reel 4. No note, no explanation. Just the tape. According to a tech expert who examined it, the footage appears to be from a behind-the-scenes event during the Cosby Show's peak years. On it, you can supposedly hear someone who sounds disturbingly like Cosby, talking to a younger man about making people disappear and keeping the family business clean. If this tape is real, it could be the smoking gun tying Cosby, Agent K, and the entire Hollywood hush operation together. But here's the problem. Cube hasn't released it. Not yet. He says the timing has to be perfect, because once it's out, there's no going back. And as of right now, according to people close to him, Cube's movements have become erratic. He's traveling without announcing locations. He's meeting sources in public spaces only. And here's the kicker, he's allegedly hired his own shadow team to watch his back, just in case Agent K decides to handle him the way they handled Malcolm. Because if Cube's right, this isn't just about one man's death. This is about decades of systemic cover-ups. A chain of power stretching from the sitcom sets of the 80s straight into today's streaming empires. And while Cube was moving the chess pieces into place for his big reveal, something happened that changed the game completely. 3 nights after Cube received that mysterious VHS tape, a fire broke out in the storage unit where he kept most of Malcolm's original research. Official cause: faulty wiring, but according to Cube, that unit didn't even have electrical outlets. The blaze was fast, surgical, and conveniently only destroyed the boxers labeled with Malcolm's handwriting. Still, Cube wasn't entirely empty-handed. He'd already made multiple digital backups, hidden across different encrypted drives. Which brings us to the moment that flipped this story upside down. The night Cube says Agent K reached out directly. Picture it, Cube sitting in his car outside a late-night diner, waiting on a source. His phone rings from an unknown number. The voice on the other end, smooth.com, not threatening, almost friendly. "You don't know me," the voice says, "but you've been talking about me." Cube freezes. The voice continues. "You've got the wrong idea about Malcolm. He wasn't killed. He was relocated. For his own good. Relocated." The word hangs in the air like smoke. Cube tries to press for details, but the line goes dead. When he tries to call back, the number doesn't exist. Now, if you believe Cube, this wasn't just some random crank call. He swears the voice sounded exactly like a recording he'd heard years ago, while investigating another Hollywood fixer case. And here's where it gets eerie. That old recording was allegedly tied to the disappearance of a director who'd been on the verge of exposing a major studio's involvement in a sex trafficking ring. So what if Agent K wasn't cleaning up bodies? What if they were disappearing people into some kind of protected shadow network? Not dead, but erased. Cube started revisiting Malcolm's last few weeks. He remembered how Malcolm had suddenly stopped talking about justice, and started dropping cryptic lines like "maybe it's better if nobody knows." He recalled how Malcolm's final social media posts were oddly cheerful, almost staged, with captions that didn't sound like him at all. That's when Cube got his hands on something he calls the list. According to him, the list is a document pulled from a corrupted email attachment, originally sent between 2 media lawyers. On it names, dozens of them, actors, musicians, journalists, all people who vanished from the public eye without explanation. Some were publicly declared dead, others were simply forgotten, and right there, sandwiched between 2 names Cube didn't recognize, was Malcolm's next to it. A code, R73. Cube's source claimed R73 was shorthand for relocation. Protocol 73, a program, ALLEGEDLY, used to remove high-risk individuals from the public stage before they could cause irreparable damage to certain billion-dollar brands. In other words, A witness protection program for people who never agreed to it. If true, this would mean Malcolm wasn't murdered, but instead trapped in a life where no one could find him. A ghost, living under a new name, in a new place, cut off from everyone he knew. And here's the mind-bending part. Cube thinks he's found proof Malcolm is still alive. Last month, during a live stream, Cube played a distorted audio clip. He wouldn't confirm its source, but he swore it was recorded just weeks earlier. In the clip, you can faintly hear someone, a voice uncannily like Malcolm's, saying, "Don't try to help me. They'll come for you too." The internet lost its mind. Some said it was obviously fake AI generated. Others claimed they recognized Malcolm's tone, his rhythm, but whether real or not, the timing of the leak couldn't have been worse for Cube. Because less than 48 hours later, his bank accounts were frozen. His manager dropped him. A production deal he'd been negotiating evaporated overnight. And the package deliveries began. Small boxes, no return address. Inside each one, a single playing card. First a king, then a queen, then a joker. By the time the fourth package arrived, containing the ace of spades, Cube says he understood the message. Checkmate is coming. Now here's where I need you to follow the thread, because this is the part that made even seasoned conspiracy hunters go pale. One of Cube's remaining contacts in the media underground, someone who claims to have once worked alongside Agent K, told him that our 73 relocations weren't just about silencing people, they were about recruitment. The idea: take people who know too much, fake their downfall or death, and then fold them into the very machine they were fighting against. A cycle of erasing enemies by making them allies. So what if Malcolm didn't just vanish? What if he's now part of the same network that made him disappear? Cube's been torn ever since. On one hand, he's obsessed with exposing the truth, dropping hints in interviews, feeding breadcrumbs to anyone willing to follow. On the other, he's wondering if every step he takes is playing directly into Agent K's hands. A carefully staged game designed to lure him in. The last public thing Cube said on the matter came in a midnight post on X. "If I go quiet, just know, I didn't stop." They did. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, nothing. No posts, no sightings, no leaks. Some think he's laying low to prepare for the release of that VHS tape. Others believe he's already been relocated. And a smaller, more paranoid group insists that Cube and Malcolm are together somewhere, working from the inside. But here's the problem with stories like this. The truth doesn't just hide, it changes. Every time you think you've got it nailed down, another layer peels back, revealing something stranger, darker, and harder to believe. And as of right now, Agent K's name is still out there, floating like a shadow over every whisper, every theory, every new mystery in Hollywood. Because if the relocation theory is real, then Malcolm's story isn't over. It's just been moved somewhere we can't reach. And now, I'm turning it over to you, because this isn't just a story, it's a warning. If Cube's silence is the sound of a door slamming shut, then every view, every comment, every share is a knock loud enough to break it open. Do you think Malcolm's alive? Was Agent K protecting him? Or owning him? Drop your theories below. And don't forget, the moment you stop watching is the moment they win. Subscribe, hit that bell, and stay awake. Because the next name on that list could be someone you know.